Howdy guys, Attorney Walter Hnot. So here's the deal. We're going to get right into the purpose of this video. And please remember to like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews when you can. If you want to leave a different stylized review, that's totally fine too. But if you want to leave a review, go to Google Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida. It'll pop right up in Google, and then pop over to the review section on the right and leave as many stars as you like. I, of course, like 5. All right, let's get right into it. There is this rule, and disability attorneys use it significantly. It is considered to be the ambulation rule or the ambulatory rule. And when we say that stuff, we mean stuff that assists people with walking, right? One foot in front of the other, but canes, crutches, walkers, wheelchairs, rollators, etc. Now, you have heard me say many, many times on this show that when it comes to ambulation, right, being able to walk, be able to prove disability for musculoskeletal impairments for Social Security disability insurance and supplemental security income, that when it comes to those types of impairments, you need to have essentially a walker with a seat, a 4-prong cane, and a shower stool / shower chair. Now, why do I always say that? It's not because I just absolutely love the idea of these things. It's because the 4-prong cane allows you to ambulate if you have difficulty with your spine, difficulty with your hips, difficulty with your neck, difficulty with your knees, your legs, etc. The 4-prong cane allows you to go upstairs and travel over uneven, right? Uneven land interactions that you might come into contact with, right? A log, or maybe a step, or maybe some weird thing you got to step over, whatever it is. And the point is that allows you to do things that you could not do with a walker. A walker, you're not going to be using a walker up a staircase, right? A flight of stairs, walker is not going to work. However, the real thing that's needed is the walker with seat. Now, there was a liberalization of the rules during the Commissioner Saul era, which is very surprising because we saw mostly things going in the anti-claimant pro-SSA direction with that. As a result of that, basically they came out with this change in the rules. And there used to be this situation where they were looking specifically for a prescription of those items: 2 canes, 2 crutches, a walker with a seat, or a walker, a wheelchair, or basically something that's using both hands to go ahead and be able to continue forward. Because if you had to use both hands, they would look to give you a vocational allowance, because there's no job in the national economy that will allow you to transport things, right, if you had to use both hands to get from point A to point B. But here's the deal. They used to look for essentially a prescription. They changed the rule where you no longer had to have a prescription, but in practical application, the judges still heavily look for a prescription. Let me read you the rule real quick so you know exactly what's going on with this rule. All right, here we go. As part of its ongoing review, and this is from Sarah Bora's book. She's like the one who writes the book on this stuff. As part of its ongoing review of the listings, the SSA developed these final rules, effective April 2nd, 2021. So it's only about 2 years old. To revise the criteria in the listing of impairments that are used to evaluate claims involving musculoskeletal disorders in adults and children under Title II and Title 16 of the Social Security Act. So this applies to musculoskeletal impairments for SSDI and SSI, adults and children. All right, cool. With that said, okay, the SSA also makes a conforming change to the endocrine disorder body system to comport with the change proposed to 20 CFR 416.926A subsection M to be consistent with these final rules. The new functional criteria is as such. Okay, don't worry about the endocrine stuff for right now. That's not important. What's important is the following: the ambulatory disability rule. They're looking for a documented medical need for a walker, 2 canes, cane in each hand, 2 crutches, crutch in each arm, or a wheeled and seated mobility device, a WSMD, okay, such as a manual wheelchair involving the use of both hands, okay? When you're thinking about this, you're thinking about, oh man, I can't stand. Right? I can't stand. It's about my knees. It's not about your knees in total. What the big part of this is, it's about your ability to use your hands. Okay. If you don't have access to the use of both of your hands as a result of having to have 2 canes, 2 crutches, a walker, or a wheelchair, guess what? No job is going to hire you. They're just not, because you can't transport items from point A to point B. All right, let me give you an example. You see Timmy over there, and Timmy basically has 2 crutches. You hire Timmy. Timmy, I need you to pick up this gallon of milk on desk A. I need you to move it all the way over there, 20 feet away, to desk D. Timmy, take care of it. Timmy has 2 crutches under his arms. Timmy has 2 canes under his hands. Timmy has a walker in front of him with both hands on it. Timmy has a wheelchair under him. How's Timmy going to go ahead and transport that? He's going to put it on his lap when he's in the wheelchair? No, the expectation, the standard is not that he'll figure it out, because that's not realistic. Employers are going to be like, no way, Jose, ain't going to happen. That is not an efficient person. So as a result of that, the SSA recognizes that, and they say, look, if your hands are required to be used for the ambulatory device, then we'll give you a pass. We'll give you the vocational allowance. Let me give you an example of that, because here's the 1-arm rule, okay? An inability to use one upper extremity to independently initiate, sustain, and complete work-related activities involving fine and gross movements, and a documented medical need for a one-handed handheld assistive device that requires the use of your other upper extremity, or a WSMD manual wheelchair, involving the use of one hand, such as a powered wheelchair. So what they did there is they said, okay, let's assume one hand is bad, right? One flipper off the map. This flipper, it ain't flipping. It ain't working, right? You try to flip people off, it's not going to work. Now, with that said, this hand, the bad one, can't be used. Can't be used to assist you with holding on to something to get from point A to point B to do things. So they're saying, look, if one hand is not able to be used and the other hand is required to be used for ambulation purposes, that getting from point A to point B, where you've got to basically go ahead and use, a motorized wheelchair, or, essentially, and I'll read you the exact details again. Let's see, document medically for one-handed handheld assistive device that requires the use of your other upper extremity, or WSMD, involving the use of one hand. The idea is, if you don't have the capability of using this one, and remember, they said fine and gross. Fine is typing on a keyboard. Gross is picking up something that will keep you alive because you're falling asleep right now. And so the idea with this is that they found a caveat, right, where they said, look, okay, we can't, not everybody's got working hands. So if we got a bad flipper, we got to know what to have this one used for an ambulatory device, then we still give them a pass, right? That's the one-handed rule. Now, with that said, there is a 2-arm high reach rule. And I'm basically giving you the secrets to be found disabled for musculoskeletal impairments that the judges are going to be looking for. So if you're like sitting there, you're like, what value does this have to me? These are like the things the judges are looking for musculoskeletal impairments. So you're welcome. Although I'm not going to break out into a song and dance because Disney did not sponsor this video. All right, let's get to it. An inability to use both upper extremities to the extent that neither or neither, I'm open to both, can be, it was a both because it's both hands. All right, not a good joke. Extent that neither can be used to independently initiate, sustain, and complete, initiate, to start, sustain, keep doing it, complete, finish it. The work-related activities involving fine, typing on a computer, gross, quick, right? I am so tired. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. Fine and gross movements, okay? I got bitched out by Sweetie over there. Shadow wants cuddles over there. It's been a long day. All right, so let me go through that again. Inability to use both upper extremities, although I need this, to the extent that neither, both of them, it's a no-go, can be used to independently initiate, sustain, and complete work-related activities involving fine and gross movement. So if both of these puppies, both of these in both fine, typing, gross, grabbing, right, are unable to do things, then for musculoskeletal purposes, that is something they're looking for to find you disabled. That is something that they believe would limit you to the point where you couldn't have a job in the national economy that would effectively allow you to do work. Okay. And this is all relating back to, of course, the 1.0 listings, which are your musculoskeletal listings. Now, there's more. And there's more. Let me Billy Mays that. These criteria represent the level of dysfunction for upper and lower extremities that would cause an adult to be unable to work or a child to be unable to perform age-appropriate activities. So remember, with adults, the standard is always, can they do work? Can they do at-home activities, right? With children, it's always, can they do age-appropriate functional criteria activities, right? Because a 9-year-old is going to be different than a 2-year-old is going to be different than an 18-year-old. Well, 17-year-old, because you know how the rule works. Okay. Assistive devices are considered as part of the first and second functional criteria in the musculoskeletal disorder listings. These final rules also, here we go. And I'm just gonna give you a couple more, okay? Just a couple more. Just hang out with me while I feed you the answers to how this program works. Yeah, that's what we tune in for. Okay. They eliminated the requirement that there must be a prescription for an assistive device. They eliminated the requirement that there must be a prescription for an assistive device. Now think about that. There was a time where the judges would, and here's the thing, in practical application, the judges still look for that because it's all about credibility. Anybody can just pick out, a wheelchair and buy one. Anybody can just buy a walker, a cane, a crutch. Anybody can do that so long as they have the basic funds to go ahead and purchase it. But if you have a prescription from a specialist or a PCP, but a specialist especially, that's a really, really good thing because it helps to show credibility to the judge that you really need these to be able to function in your daily and work activities, if you can still do work-related activities. Sweetie, are you chewing my cords? No, she's chewing her nails. Okay, we're okay. All right, so that's a really cool thing. Now, the rest of this right here, I just want to see if there's any more rules I want to give you. Structure current listening, added done now, blah, blah, relevant criteria, blah, 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 no, 24, okay, now, okay. So now you know when it comes to musculoskeletal impairments, why I'm always preaching about a walker with a seat, a 4-prong cane, and a shower stool / shower chair. A shower stool / shower chair shows that you took the initiative to modify or add to your dwelling these things to make it so that you can get through your basic daily hygiene related activities because you needed more than just more than just the usual. So like, okay, when people call me and they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. I got back problems, blah, 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 blah. I got knee problems, blah, 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 blah. I've got neck problems. I say, okay, cool. What kind of ambulatory devices do you have? You have a walker, a cane, a crutch, a wheelchair, a rollator. What do you have? And they go, oh, I'm not that bad. Whoa. That's what the judges are looking for. The judges are looking for, okay, do you use an ambulatory device? Do you use a cane? Do you use a crutch? Do you use installed, grab bars inside your house? If you're sitting there going and you say to the judge, no, I don't have any of those. What does that tell the judge? Well, you're not that bad. You're not that severe because you have not changed your life to include these specific items going forward to be able to get through your daily activity. Some additional ones that nobody ever talks about: installing ropes throughout your house, installing grab bars, installing special things on your stairs to go ahead and get you up them, like a seated stair lift. These are all things. I think I just got an eyelash. Let me see if I can go ahead and pray it away while nope, we're good. Okay, cool. It worked. So with that said, you have to keep in mind installing something into your house, amazing evidence for these judges when it comes to musculoskeletal impairment approvals. Number 2, that 4-prong cane we talked about. If you've got a wheelchair, you're not wheeling that upstairs. If you've got a walker with a seat, you're not wheeling that upstairs. That's a great thing to say, no, Your Honor, I have this device, this cane, this 4-prong cane, because I have balance issues. I'm a drop risk that I use to get up the stairs, that I use to get down the little stairs into the backyard, that I use to get in and out of the car, that I use to be able to get to the doctor's office, okay? But otherwise, around my house, otherwise, when I have to go any distance to get the mail, I use my walker when there's no steps. Now, why do we want a walker with a seat? Well, because we want to explain how you're a drop risk. We want to explain how you have limitations with standing and how long you can stand. And if you have a walker with a seat, a golden throne, if you will, not that golden. I mean, like a silver throne. We don't want to go full golden because if it's full golden, we're using that chair for things it was not designed for. So the point is, we have this, walker with a seat, And that shows the judge that you were thinking about your limitations when it comes to being able to stand. And therefore, if you're out and about and doing your thing, right, you can sit the moment that you lose the capacity due to whatever. Could be imbalance, could be knee issues, could be a tinnitus issue, whatever. Could be any one of those. So this is basically the change that we're seeing when it comes to these rules and why they're important for you to have prescribed to you ambulatory devices. All right. Now, guys, with that said, I am super tired today. I'm going to take about 5 minutes, set up the next video. We're going to do rapid fire calls for only about an hour. Then I have to go to sleep, wake up early, do stuff. And Friday is going to be a wrecking ball for me. It's just a long day. All the hearings went very well, very smooth. So I'm very pleased, but I'm super tired. Julie Blair, thank you. Thank you for the $5 donation. Super duper love the little clappy hands. Very cool. Awesome. Awesome. I will catch you guys in the not too distant future, and I will see you very, very soon. 5 minutes, catch up with me, and we will do the rapid fire phone calls that are incoming. All right, guys, I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.